Corey and I have been looking in all my Appalachian language reference books to see what we could find out about the word Christmas or anything related to Christmas since it's that time of the year. Most of the books don't have anything because, why focus on that one word, Christmas? But we did find a few in our books. Of course, the Dictionary of Smoky Mountain English is never going to let me down, so there's quite a few in it. And then in the new edition of the Dictionary of Smoky Mountain English, which is called the Dictionary of Southern Appalachian English, there's quite a few in it. So we're going to share some of those with you today. So I'm going to start, I think, Corey, with the first one is Christmas gift. Now this is one that means a lot to us because it's a tradition in our family. So when I was a little girl and Granny would get up and like at the break of dawn on Christmas morning and call her family to say Christmas gift, I was afraid she would upset them. It kind of annoyed me. I was like, Granny, you shouldn't call people that early. But I didn't realize fully that it was like this game, I did know that every time I was at Granny Gazzy's house, Granny's mother's house on Christmas Day, lots of people coming and going through the day just to step in and say hello, and then leave. And we would always eat Christmas dinner there. Everybody that come in, somebody would yell, Christmas gift at them, or they would say it just as they opened the door. So I just thought, well, Granny's family's really, really interesting or really odd or whatever. But once I was grown and I of course started the Blind Pig and the Acorn and started researching, I realized that's a really widely known game that you play at Christmas. The theory behind it, some people say, is that you're going to get a gift. No one ever got a gift like that in Granny's family. It was just seeing who could say it first. So let's see what the dictionary says about it. So it says Christmas gift. Christmas give, G-I-V-E is another one. We always said Christmas gift. And so it says it means Merry Christmas. And then it's got the documentation, 1936, Madison County, North Carolina, Swain County, North Carolina, that it was said there. I could add Cherokee County, North Carolina, too. 1972, Peterson, it was documented in Cott County, Tennessee, and Sevier County, Tennessee. And then Christmas give was documented in Blount County, Tennessee, and Cott County, Tennessee, and Jefferson County, Tennessee, and Sevier County, Tennessee. So that one was probably pretty common too. So then it says, Merry Christmas. In a Christmas Day ritual, usually the first person to say this is owed a token gift from the person greeted. Hence, as noun equals this ritual. But as I said, no one in Granny's family actually gave a gift. So 1942, Thomas Blue Ridge, the young folks of the community go from home to home, bursting in with such a cheery Christmas gift. Those who have been taken unaware, though it happens the same way each year, forgetting in the pleasant excitement of the occasion to cry out the greeting first, must pay a forfeit of something good to eat, cake, homemade taffy, popcorn, apples, or nuts. So, while no one was actually given a gift, there was always good stuff to eat at Granny Gazzy's on Christmas, so I guess they did get a treat. 1973, from Great Smoky Mountain National Park, if you could sneak up so we were out before daylight, and if you could get Christmas gift on them, they had to give you something, which was usually apples or stick candy. Granny Gazzy always had stick candy. When I see it, it always reminds me of her. 1974, Ogle Memories. Christmas morning, the folks would let me get up anytime I wanted to and go to someone's house and holler, Christmas give. Would you like to do that,
Could
Corey?
you imagine running down the street, Christmas gift?
Yeah. In the last several years, well, more than that, I try to call Granny and get her. And usually every year, if she doesn't get me first, she'll say, oh, you got me when I call. And I'm like, Christmas gift. So it would be fun to go to somebody's house, though. Maybe I should go to Uncle Steve's house and start yelling, Christmas gift.
They'd be like, what?
Yeah. 1974, Russell Hillbilly. We were pleased upon arising if we could be the first to say Christmas gift to other members of the family, even though we knew we wouldn't receive the gift that was supposed to be forthcoming. So they weren't going to get one. 1975, Perky, Madison County. Mama had a zest for living. She got us children up early on Christmas morning, and we would steal out to our nearest neighbor's house and serenade them by banging pots and pans together, setting off firecrackers, which my oldest brother somehow always contrived to get. Then we all yelled in unison, Christmas gift. See, ain't that so wonderful?
That's sweet,
I think
yeah.
that'd be fun. 1981, Brewer Wonderment. If morning before they said it to you, they had to give you a present before the end of the day. And then 1986, Ogle Lucinda. When we got Christmas gift on her, she would pass a plate of sweetbread and a box of mixed peppermint and horehound candy around to us. So, such a sweet tradition. I'm glad our family still does it, and I hope you'll continue to do it, Corey.
I'm already thinking maybe the next time I go to see Austin's parents, when I come through the door, I'm going to scream Christmas gift,
and they'll be like,
what they say.
But then again, they might be
might
like,
know.
oh, my grandma used to say that, or so and so used to say that, so they might know. So which one you got? What you got?
I got two words here that are really fun, words that I had never seen before. So the first one is Christmas poke.
Christmas poke.
Christmas poke. It says, formerly a small bag of treats that school children would exchange for Christmas.
Oh, go ahead. You got more to it?
Just what's
Well,
left.
go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
I was
okay.
too excited. I got something to say about it.
Let's see. So this says 2006, Lalone Coal Lamps. Is that where it come from?
Yeah, that book.
The book. So it says they, the children, would draw names, of course, and have Christmas pokes, what they call Christmas poke. All right, a Christmas poke, they usually consisted of an orange and an apple and a bar of candy and some hard Christmas candy and a little trinket of some sort.
So all the churches here in our area, at the end of their Christmas play, they give out a Christmas poke. That's what they do. They make them up. It's a little brown bag, just as Corey described. It has an apple and an orange, usually some chewing gum, and maybe a candy bar, maybe a peppermint stick or a candy cane. Something like that. So that one's still really alive and well in our area of Appalachia. So you'll have to tell us if that's common where you live.
Yeah. The next one I have is Christmas trick. And when I seen this one, I was like, can I read this?
Yeah.
So it says, an act or prank performed rarely, such as once a year at Christmas. So this is first documented in 1855. It looks like in Wilkesboro County, North Carolina. And then in 1956 in I don't know how to say that, Appalachian?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Tar Heel Talk. So in
Yeah.
that book.
Yeah.
So it says, Papa waded the river for his Christmas trick. Then it's 1862, Neves C.W. Letters. Is that how you would say that?
Yeah.
That's the next documentation. It says, I would be glad to see you and hear you tell some of your Christmas trick, as you have taken it where you did never before. I reckon you had a big time.
Yeah, well, I'd like to know what they did, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That was really...
Saying you
it must
took it
have
real
really
far.
been an impressive one. So one of my other books, it's funny, look, that's what it is.
Oh,
it's
okay.
that book.
It's the book, Tar Heel Talk.
It's the Who Knew I Had the Book. Okay, well,
That's
I knew I had the book, I just didn't know that was the one.
Yeah.
So it does list it in here, Christmas trick. Papa waded the river for his Christmas trick. January 7th, 1855. That was Amelia Gwynn, Wilkes, Lenore. So Wilkes County, I guess, Lenore. So neat. We actually had the book.
I want to know what this Christmas trick
Yeah,
was.
especially one that was, what did it say? The best?
Let me go back.
Sorry.
It's okay. Right here. Christmas trick, as you have taken it where you did never before.
Yeah.
I reckon you had a big
Yeah,
time.
I'd like to know what they did to have a big time. That would be a good one. Yeah. What other one have you got?
I also have Galax.
So Galax, for people that don't know, most of you probably do know, it's a small plant that grows wild, like a wild plant that's very pretty. It's like almost like a heart-shaped. I've often said, and I got it from John Paris, I think, that it's Appalachia's own Valentine because it's shaped like a heart. But it's real shiny, so it makes it, and it's evergreen, so it's perfect to put in like decorations. So during this time of the year when florists was really needing, back in those days when they really harvested from the woods, people would go gaylacking. They would go pick those leaves and then turn them into florist for money or wherever they were selling them. And they probably shipped them to somewhere else in those days, but for extra money. So they would get Christmas spending money. So it become kind of associated with Christmas because that time of the year is the only time that they would, there was a demand for them when you think about wreaths and bouquets and all different things, garlands and all that.
Yeah, so the word galak, which is the verb, of course, and it says, to gather this plant or others as ornamental evergreens for sale during the holiday season. hence noun, galaxing, the gathering of such plants, less commonly done in the Smokies than in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina and Virginia. Galac, verb, to gather this plant or other ornamental greens to sell to florists. Then it says 1941, to a vast scattered army of North Carolina galackers, Christmas is in the air. Galacking is the business of collecting decorative greens, the term being derived from galax leaves. Then in 1949, from Sharp Low Gap Man, I'd rather set a picker galac than evergreen. Galacking is slavish work, but it's plumb helpful.
So he would rather gather the galacking than to actually gather like the evergreens, where they were gathering, I guess, like
Trees,
maybe it was
maybe.
branches from trees or whatever. Another thing they gathered. Well, go ahead and you do that, and I'll see if it's in my book. I just thought of this as one I hadn't thought of.
Sure. So in 1957, Paris, My Mountains, it says, as an industry confined to our mountains, galacking, that's what mountain folks call gathering the leaves, is comparatively new. Always money and galaxing. Now, some 45 years later, Haynes is one of the top galackers in all the mountains with a galax and evergreen factory here in Old Fort, from which he ships out thousands of pounds of galax leaves and other evergreens week in and week out during the year.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then it's even documented in 1976, so flash forward a long time. It says, in the spring, the women get their baskets and go galacking together.
So that was in the spring.
Yeah.
Wonder what they were doing with them, and maybe there was a demand in the spring by 1976. I don't know. But another thing I looked, and doesn't have it in the dictionary, that they would gather for the same reason during the holidays was moss. So Ed Ammons, one of our dear friends and longtime supporter of our family, he did that as a youngster, gathered moss to sell like that. Moss is one of the most beautiful things, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, what have I got next? Oh, this was one, when you think about Christmas, and it's perfect to go along with the galac, and another thing that they might gather, or people just gather to green up their house. Corey and I's been greening up our house this week, the greening of Christmas, but it's holly, because it has those beautiful red berries. But so in Appalachia, though, especially in days gone by, the tree, because all holly trees don't have berries, so the trees with the berries traditionally were called she hollies, and the trees without the berries were called he hollies. So the dictionary has he holly, a noun, the male of the American holly tree, which bears no berries. And then 1957, Paris, My Mountains. Guess you didn't know there was a he holly and a she holly. So those are old, just old names. You don't really hear those anymore. But that was the ones with the berries, or the she hollies. Now let's see, what else have I got. So another one, you having to get you some water? So another one is Old Christmas, and this one's still celebrated not just in Appalachia, but in lots of other areas too. And it is not, we do not celebrate it, never have. But Old Christmas is a noun, and alternative observation of Christmas celebrated in the 20th century, usually on January 6th, and reflecting the date of the holiday according to the Julian or Old Style calendar. The more precise Georgian New Style calendar was adopted in continental Europe, especially in Catholic countries, in 1582, but not until 1752 in Britain, where the populace continued to observe Christmas according to the older calendar and associated the day with such miraculous events as the kneeling of livestock at the stroke of midnight on Christmas Eve and the sudden blooming of flowers. The observance was brought by early settlers to the mountains. In some places in southern Appalachia, the belief that the day was the true sacred Christmas persisted well into the 20th century. The observance has no connection with Twelfth Night or Epiphany. For discussion, see Chester Raymond Young, The Observance of Old Christmas in Southern Appalachia, in an Appalachian Symposium. So you'd have to check that out for more information. Let's see if it goes. Let's go all the way. 1970, we'll go all the way to there. Adams, Appalachian Revisit. One of the most beautiful superstitions was in connection with the celebration of Old Christmas, which occurs on January 6th, the date on which Christmas occurred in early England before the calendar change in the 18th century to December 25th. The folk believed that on the eve of Old Christmas, the elderberry bushes shot out their blossoms, and that at midnight the cattle would kneel down in their stalls to pay homage to the baby Jesus who had been born in a stable. So that's still, you'll still hear people talking about Old Christmas. Lots of people, I know, not just people in Appalachia, but in other places. And then here's another one just for that, right below it. Old Christmas Eve, January 5th. It says 1981, Smoky's Heritage. But on Old Christmas Eve, all signs of merriment disappeared. The occasion turned suddenly somber. Interesting. Okay, have you got any others?
I think that was all I had.
That's all you had? I think I have two more. Let's see. This one's kind of a funny one. So if you're slow as Christmas, if you've ever heard that. Now, when I was a kid, I would get that, slow as Christmas. Today, I don't get that because it seems like I was just celebrating Christmas last week, and now it's here again. The older I get, the faster time goes. So I don't think Christmas is slow anymore. But slow as Christmas is an adjective phrase of a person or of a time, very slow moving, used to urge a person to hurry, to describe one who is slow or tardy, to express exasperation. So in 1998, Montgomery collection, it was used to criticize slow or sluggish behavior or work as that mule is slow as Christmas, but he's steady. And that was from Brown. Don't give her the job, she's as slow as Christmas, and that was from Cardwell. Used especially by parents trying to hurry children as in getting ready for church. Ellis, used for any person or thing who is slow as he's as slow as Christmas. That was Jones. Used with both children and adults to a general descriptive term, not just to get someone to hurry, and that was from documented by Letford. So that one's interesting. So I think I just have one more. And it comes from a really interesting book. This book is from, let me open it up. It's Word Book of Virginia Folk Speech, and it was all the way from 1899, a very old book. And Katie used to work at a place, and one time they were getting rid of old books. They were just going to throw them in the garbage, and she knew herself and all of us, we really enjoy old things, old books especially. And so she's like, if you're just going to throw them away, could I have them? And they're like, well, sure, if you'll get them out of here, you can have them. So this was one of the books, and it's an entire book full of words. So she knew I would love that. So it's got, for Christmas, it's just one little short entry, but it's Christide.
Like Y-D-E.
So it's Christyde. Christide. It means Christmas. So you'll have to tell us if you've ever heard that one. But I just love it because of this. It's in this really old book.
Surprising the book's even still.
It's pretty good
around.
shape. Maybe nobody ever really used it or something. The outside's kind of doesn't really. It had a name and it's kind of wore off. But it even says, I love it because it even says Richmond, W.M. Ellis Jones book and job printer, 1899. Really cool. And then it's got, it's just about words, but then in the beginning of it, it talks about the importance of holding on to words at that time that were old to them, so many of them's fallen out of fashion. But I do love to flip through it and see ones that are still used today. So that's kind of interesting too, to know that they thought they might fall out of fashion, but then we're still using them. So I love that. Anyway, so me and Corey hope that you've enjoyed this talking about Christmas. You can probably think of other Christmas words related to Appalachia, here in Appalachia, that we left out, or words related to Christmas from Appalachia. So if you do, please leave us a comment and tell us about those. And as always, we hope you'll keep dropping back by to talk about Appalachian language, which is just a huge part of celebrating the whole region.